departure of Damian Lillard, the Portland Trailblazers decided to go in the direction of a rebuild. Failing to surround it with the talent needed to make another playoff push, they turned to the draft. With a successful season of tanking, they were able to secure the top 3 pick in the draft, with a pool of athletes that could jumpstart any organization if you're looking for it. And with the 2 top prospects in the draft, we were looking at Victor Wembanyama and Scoot Henderson. Unfortunately, the ping pong balls didn't fall right for us, so we didn't get the unicorn in Victor Wembanyama, but we still secured a top prospect in Scoot Henderson. With a perfect blend of athleticism, playmaking, and speed, this point guard was going to be one for the books. Now, it was going to be tough to move on from a Hall of Famer in Dame into a prospect that's very raw in Scoot Henderson. He had very high expectations going into the season, and I could be one to tell you that he didn't really start off the season very well. As is expected with these rookie point guards, they're going to be bound to make mistakes. You're leading a team of grown men that have been in the league for years, got families. You're out here playing your game, having fun, but he was being erratic, out of control. It seemed like he was moving at too fast of a pace. But as the season went on, you started seeing the things come together. He was finding his teammates in the right spots, not making as many turnovers, making as many simple mistakes as he was making in the beginning of the season. He was finding his guys, he was finding his spots, his jumper was coming together. Everything seemed like it was flowing. And he was starting to show the flashes of why he was so highly touted in the draft and why he will be highly touted in the future. It was only year 1, and I know he has a lot to prove next year. You could probably call Scoot one of the pieces of the young core part of this rebuild, along with Shaedon Sharpe, who was selected in the 2022 NBA draft at pick number 7. And when it comes to this rebuild that the Blazers are about to have, Shaedon Sharpe is definitely up there with the young core that they're going to be surrounded by. Kickstarting his sophomore season, it only looked like it was up from here. The superstar talent was oozing out of Shaedon Sharpe. Another valuable piece of this core, Shaedon Sharpe was out there giving buckets to anybody that wanted them and was taking them. It seemed like every single game, a new part of it was unlocked. He was giving people hella buckets. He wasn't just a high flyer on the court. He would go off ball, hit you in the catch and shoot. The tray ball was coming in. The off the dribble mid range was coming in. Him and Scoot were having some synergy that you want your young guys to have early in their days of a rebuild. You want them to build that chemistry and connection and blossom, so when you eventually get those pieces that go into building a championship team, you're ready. As a fan, it was starting to look up because you still had prospects out there that were still growing and blossoming that had real superstar talent in the making. And then we also have Anthony. When CJ departed and went to the Pelicans, he stepped up big time. He filled in some big shoes that many didn't think he was going to fill. All that mentorship and learning and taking notes off the bench came in clutch, and I feel like he's also a big part of the rebuild situation too. I know many other fans would like to see him move to another team, maybe not thinking that the timeline fits with him being 25 now, but he's definitely a big part of what the Blazers got going on in the future. I understand that you want some valuable picks, rebuild, tank. There's a loaded 2025 draft next year, but you don't just give a guy like this up. As much as he sacrificed for the organization, man, you got to keep him going. And there's a lot of things he can do. And then we got Toumani, the 4th piece of the puzzle, our lockdown defender, our Scottie Pippen, our Jaden McDaniels. They may got Jason Tatum, but we got Toumani Camara. He gonna lock his ass up. But like I said, he's a valuable piece because he adds to the defensive product that we were lacking for a couple of years. The Aminus, the Marla Harklesses, we needed some defense, and we were able to pick it up in all the trades we made to eventually move to the type of rebuild that we're having right now. And as we move on to the next season and develop that young core that are going to surround these 4 players, there's a lot of spots that we need to fill in to plug up on all the weaknesses and bolster on top of the strengths that we have. When I took a deep dive to what we were really weak at, I couldn't believe my eyes. What sticks out the most is we were bottom 2 in offensive rating, 28th in defensive rebounding, bottom 2 in turnover percentage, last in effective field goal percentage and true shooting and 3-point percentage, and we were bottom 2 in field goal percentage. Those stats are just unacceptable if we plan to be competitive in the future. So in this draft, as we move to get more pieces to bolster our squad, here are my 3 picks at each pick in the first round that I think will help us greatly. To start off, the first of the potential picks at 7, I like Dalton Knecht from Tennessee. He's one of them people I like to tout as hashtag premium strokers, hashtag stroke team. All around just a dude you want in your corner. He's one of the dudes that can space the floor. He's been the go-to guy on his team. He can heat it up in a second. The shot is water. The shot is buttery. He also has the size to play some great defense as well. He's going to get some blocks and steals here and there in the lane. Just help defense stretch the floor out. Definitely help us a lot in the three-point department because we were so bad. We need spacing around Scoot. We need open lanes. The lanes get too clogged because people weren't making enough shots. He's going to space it out. He can get hot whenever you want to. You can give him the ball. He can put it on the floor, get it from the mid-range, floaters, layups. Anything is possible when it comes to this dude. Maybe an older prospect, but he has the right archetype and size that we need on this team. Next up at the prospect list at number 7 was one of my early favorites in my draft process, Cody Williams. The younger brother of J-Dub, he can provide the Blazers with versatility on defense with his great size and off-ball awareness, and that switchability and recovery is very hard to find when it comes to people his size. As another pair of young, fresh legs that can help push the pace on a team that lacked pace, Cody stands out as one of those players that can help accelerate the pace of play on our team and space the floor out. Although it was on low volume, he shot 41% from the three-point, and it looks like the shot is fluid and smooth, so if he gets more attempts, it's bound to keep falling. He just has to be more aggressive with it. This pick will definitely become a project when it comes to how Cody Williams will do with increased volume on his shots. But with the way he was able to seamlessly play off the ball off the Stars at Colorado, I don't see any volume increase being such a deterrent on the numbers that he already displayed. Last but not least, out of the picks at 7, I have Ron Holland from the G League Ignite. And boy, was this man one of the most athletic freaks. Like, bro, it was insane the amount of transition dunks, putbacks, layups that I have seen from this dude. It's like a Scoot at 6'8". And I know for most Blazers fans that may concern you because the jumper might not be there. He didn't shoot very well from 3, shot 24%, but can you ignore any of the plays he had on these things? Like the chase down, he's just pinning it off the backboard. The athleticism is there and is jumping. He's jumping past lanes, he's hustling, he has 110% effort on defense, on offense. The motor is there. Now we might have to suffer not the best shooting in the corners, off the top of the key, the percentages. Yeah, we might have to suffer a little bit of it, but I trust it. The free throw percentage was good at 75.7%. His feel for the game is good. You know, he might have a time adjusting to how fouls work in the NBA compared to the G League. But this type of defensive menace, you don't really pass up on. And as young as he is, it gives us a lot of time to work out the molds of who's going to work well with who moving forward in our rebuild. And if you believe the shot is there, I know there's a doubt with lots of prospects in this draft with their shot, but if you believe the shot is there, this is not a guy you want to pass up on. At pick 14, it got a little bit tricky because there's so many different routes we can go. We can still go for more spacing, try to address our rebounding issue, but I believe Yves Missi can be one of those prime picks at 14. An athletic big man that can play above the rim at 7 foot, his physical tools synergizes well with the Blazers' young guard tandem. I picked up on early that Scoot loves his big man. He loves throwing lobs, he loves getting them involved, and loves getting them buckets in the paint because sometimes you kind of ignore them on the easy twos. Not this dude. Yves Missi's an elite play finisher, plays above the rim, will dunk it on you, will get the rebound, put it back on you. This makes multiple efforts on the glass. And he's going to help address that issue of defensive rebounding and field goal percentage because he's getting you easy buckets. He's getting you high quality looks, and Scoot is going to put it where only he can get that ball. Keeping Ayton's long-term max contract in mind, this is just too good of an opportunity to pass up. Next up, I have to throw it back to the hashtag premium strokers, and there's no other player like Tristan Da Silva from Colorado. If we end up reuniting Cody and Da Silva in Portland, hey, I'd be very happy. One project player and one proven player, both strokers in their own right, one on less volume, one on more volume. There's no question of what this man can bring to the table for our team. With an array of different moves that he can pull off from the mid-range, whether it's his floater, his post-game, the three-point, cutting to the rim, filling the lanes. He just can do so many things at so many different levels. Another older prospect, similar to Connect, does a whole bunch of things, can put the ball on the floor, create rim pressure, a good off-the-ball shooter. He's going to give Scoot them spacing he needs to drive through the lane. That's the biggest thing when it comes to these guys we have to draft this year. We want to tank for next year as well because there's a loaded draft next year. This draft is loaded as well, but he's going to space the floor like no other, and he's proven he's done a lot for Colorado. Like I said, defense is one of our biggest issues and the best defender by far in this draft It might be a little bit early to select him, but none other than Ryan Dunn. This guy is a stud on that side of the court. He is one of those. Oh my goodness. If his jump shot was a little bit better, a tiny bit better, a little bit more consistent in college, he would definitely be the number one pick by far. I have enough faith, enough trust, because I don't think anybody can do anything in this world that his jumper will fall eventually. He's going to find it. He has some flashes of self-creation as well, not the biggest. He's not the best on-ball creator, but off-ball cutting, standing in the corner, they're going to leave him open. He just has to hit it. We just need a lot of people in the coaching staff, all our shooting coaches band together and get this dude the best jump shot ever. He's going to be on all defensive teams. We just need him to be a sub 30% shooter, and it's wraps. He's such a big disruptor and defensive menace. He's great rotating, helping, and getting into passing lanes, and he's very disciplined and not fouling. He's very attentive. The three ball, like I said, not the best, but we will get all our coaching that we have on it. That all them jump shot coaches, I'll even be in there if I have to. We gonna get that jump shot right. Also get him a little bit more self-creation and at least get the free throw as consistent as can be, because we don't want to get him hack a done, hack a shack, all that. We don't need that stuff. The defense is right though. As long as the defense right, it's a good pick to me. Maybe a little bit early, like I said. If he falls to the second round and we get him at pick 34, I'll be even happier than we would just get De Silva and Missy at this round. Like I said before, the Blazers have to build around Anthony, Shaedon, Tamani, and Scoot. These are the four people that are the prime pieces of the puzzle of our rebuild and are going to be superstars in the making moving forward. As we look to address all the glaring issues on defense, rebounding, and shooting, this draft provides a lot of different prospects that have different skill sets in those departments. At a quick glance, it seems like most of the prospects are great in some spots and glaringly weak in others, and most of them seem like the jump shot isn't consistent or the jump shot isn't there. And most teams are going to have to take swings on these players, but that's what drafts are. You kind of taking a swing on a college player, because sometimes their game can translate or may not translate into the league. But I do believe when it comes to this draft, there's a lot of people that sleep on the type of players that are coming in because they can't guarantee and pinpoint which ones are going to be superstars and which ones are going to be busts. But for me, I'm looking at this draft as an opportunity to get some solid role players and then eventually push to maybe next year getting a solid superstar or just building on the people we have already. A lot of them already got superstar talent to begin with. With 4 picks in the draft, we have such a great opportunity to plug in these new prospects and mold the team that's going to eventually get that chip. We're going to move forward to that NBA chip. We're going to lift that trophy very, very soon. 2026, 2027 is when I plan the Blazers to take over the world. We're going to be NBA champions, man.